You talk about heavy. This is the Back to the Future Blu-ray 25th Anniversary Trilogy, courtesy of Universal Pictures. The Back to the Future Trilogy finally makes its debut on the Blu-ray, and honestly, I have to say, it's not too bad of a set. But first off, we'll start with the opening package. Universal created one of their slipcovers that has like a fold-out deal. Disney used to do this with Sleeping Beauty and whatnot, but it goes in, tells you, the majority of the special features on here, like the U-Control, storyboard comparisons. It even talks about the whole nuclear, the previous predicament with the time machine was that, it ran on nuclear power and you had to blow it up, in order for it to travel back through time. But let's see here, a trivia track. It also comes, kind of has like a holographic look to it as well. But pretty much all the extras from the previous DVD have been ported over as well. And but the main highlight right here, in my opinion, is not only does it feature the Back to the Future The Ride feature on there, in case you never went to it at Universal Studios, is it also contains the footage in the brand new documentary that features Eric Stoltz. It is in there, but the only problem though is that it doesn't have any audio, unfortunately. But it's still surreal seeing him walking around, walking around the set of Hill Valley and whatnot. And he looks exactly a lot more like George McFly than Marty does, but than Michael J. Fox does. But oh well. I figure it's probably for the best. But anyways. As stated, it comes with 3 digital copies each along with the Blu-ray. We'll take this in from the side view right here. Only problem I have with this box in itself, it comes in a special digipack or so, is that it's not as tall as like slipcover Blu-rays go, but it still doesn't match though with the sets that I have. Like if I were to put it right up next to Alien Anthology or the Batman Anthology, it's too small. It doesn't really look right. But when it comes to uniformity, it will drive people crazy. But just to give you a back shot and everything. But enough of the package. Let's open this up. Be forewarned. Oh yeah, and the part of the Back to the Future on the front is embossed as well. Kind of has a holographic look to it. Pretty nice actually. But opening this up. In this special digipack, let me back up the camera just a little bit more so that we can get a full view of this. Pardon if you see any cables. Had a Rock Band 3 party last night. Let's see. That's what you get right here. Obviously, digital copy slit, along with Despicable Me coming out soon. Protect the discs, obviously. And each of the discs right here for Back to the Future Part 1, sorry you guys see my ugly mug, and the digital copies are in the back, all look the same for Part 3, Part 2. And now, the one thing that a lot of people have complained about is that you'll notice that it seems like they're not being held by anything. Turns out they are being held by a little clamp or something right here. And a lot of people have been wondering too, how do you actually, how do you get the dang discs out? So just as a precursor for you guys, in case you ever need any help, what you gotta do is you gotta take the disc up here, push it down towards right here, push it down. Grab this and push down and pull up. And then that's how you get it out. And then obviously, this is how the digital copy looks like. Not really liking Universal's choice of not putting any cover art on here, but beggars can't be choosers, And Back to the Future Part 1. More feature lists. For Back to the Future 1, 2, 3. Just to give you, we'll just take the discs out to show you guys what the underlying posters look like. Don't get me wrong, I think the clamps are okay, but it's just that, well, Universal, you want to try something new, but it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But anyways, I'll put in the discs at a later time, but just to give you guys an idea of how it looks like. that back into there. And the and without the slip looks just the same, except without the holographic and without the embossing. But overall, though, a lot of people have seen like screenshots of it all, like on websites and whatnot, and been thinking like, oh my gosh, they DNR'd the heck out of this. No, they didn't. They applied a little bit of DNR. There was a little bit of edge enhancement here and there, but this is probably the best that the Back to the Future movies will ever look, actually, in reality. But if anything, though, it does get better, though, as the set rolls on. Like, Back to the Future 1 obviously is the weakest. It is the oldest, but let's see, nothing really too much to marvel at Back to the Future 1, except you do see a little bit more sharper details. It's Back to the Future Part 2 is when things get really interesting, especially when he does walk into the future and sees Hill Valley, in 2015. You notice just a little bit more detail in everything. Like the newspaper, for example, when he's talking about when his son was getting arrested, and when Griff, smashes through the clock tower window and everything. You get to see a little bit more and read up on that, which I thought was kind of a nice touch. And when you go back into alternate 1985, you notice just a little bit more things, just a little bit more of the grime and the darkness and everything like that Biff, has turned into. 3 obviously looks gorgeous because of the west of Hill Valley. I can't say. Let's see, colors look especially really well on Part 3. But picture overall, if I had to go with anything, I would give probably all 3 a 4. But Back to the Future more so a little bit. The first one a little bit weaker score of 4. If I'd give it a 3.5, I would. But it's not really that horrible. But sound-wise, though, 4s all around. Just the score, the sound, especially the soundtrack. Yeah, Huey Lewis and DTS-HD 5.1, that's my life's calling right there. Let's see. The soundtrack, I think, again, it blossoms more so in the second one, in my opinion, but that's just me. And extras-wise, I'd probably have to give it, it's close to a 5. If I can give it a 4.5, I would, but, after I saw the Alien Anthology, that's nothing compared to, that kind of set the standard, so it's kind of hard to compare the two. But with any normal Blu-ray, though, I would definitely give the sets like a 4.5 or close to a 5 or so. It's not, no, actually, I take it back. I'd give it more so a 4, because the lack of audio to the Eric Stoltz footage, I mean, you got to take what you can get, be happy with what what we did receive. We actually did get to see the footage, but still no audio, They talk about how he had not a lot of great comedic, feel to it, not a great comedic performance, but yet what good is it if we just see him walking around awkwardly and everything? So, but oh well. But if you are a fan of the trilogy, like me, though, I would give this a shot. However, I'd wait until the price drops a little bit, like maybe to $40 or something like that. Or if you're a really hardcore fan, I'm going to order it for Christmas, but in Britain, they have a tin, which is about the same size as Band of Brothers, maybe a little bit bigger. Kind of like a tin just like that. But inside is this Blu-ray case without the digital copies. And what it is, it also contains like a photograph of Marty and his brother and sister, fading away. It also contains of him and Doc, from the old restaurant in front of the clock tower. It contains like several double-sided posters that include the movie's poster. Plans to the DeLorean. It includes a newspaper from Back to the Future Part 2. One side has the Griff story, the other side has Marty Jr.'s story. A license plate, I don't know how big it is in relation, but a license plate that says out of time, from the first one. It also includes a sports almanac that does contain some statistics from, all the way from 19-whatever to 2004. And so, because you see Allen Iverson and everything and what in there. And so, if you're an Ultimate fan, though, I would definitely go for that set. But otherwise, else, if you want something to wet your whistle, for the time being, get this. But I would wait until the price drops just a little bit. So, I'd prefer you go and grab Alien myself. But that's just me, because Back to the Future is like probably my favorite movie of all time. So, just to forewarn you guys. So, you all take care. See ya.